Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm really excited to be here. I hope you liked my Tame Impala warm-up music. But yeah, welcome. I'm excited to present to you all kind of exactly how we build out our creator programs at PlayKit and how you could do the same. Today, we're going to be going over, what are these UGC platforms and programs that are really taking startups by storm right now online, and how you can build out the exact same things. So let's get right into it. Feel free to screenshot anything. I'll be trying to share these slides afterwards, but yeah, feel free to take screenshots, ask your questions away in the chat. I'll be answering everything I can, and there'll be a couple discount codes thrown around at the end for handbooks that I have at the end if you stay all the way through. So yeah, before we get into it, a little bit about me, how I kind of got into this space. Before working at PlayKit, which is where I'm a co-founder of now, I was working at a women's health startup in college, and basically we didn't have a ton of money to run ads or do big influencer programs, so had to get a little bit scrappy, and I eventually just started making TikToks of myself. Before that, I was absolutely not a creator by any means, but we found that it really, really worked. Conversion just absolutely skyrocketed, and we were bringing in more downloads than we had with paid ads. So what ended up happening, we turned off all of our paid, and we're just going all in on this organic channel. Time fast forward a little bit, and I got really sick of making content. I was like, I am not a content creator by any means, and I wanted to figure out how to scale myself. So I found more creators, and I was like, all right, let's see how we can get these people to make similar content. And it worked really, really well. I met my co-founder on Twitter, and now we have PlayKit. And PlayKit is an organic marketing agency. We work primarily with consumer apps just to absolutely blow them up on socials and help bring in downloads, help get them more eyeballs. We've worked with really fun brands like Flow Health, Substack, Fig, Dupe.com, and Airlearn. We've posted more than 50,000 videos to date, more than 500 million views, and have brought in about 4 million downloads for all these different apps. We've been around for about a year, and it's been really, really fun. We have about 200 content creators now. They're all college students, and it's been just so great to grow this and, be in the community and learn as much as we can. So yeah, here we are today. We're going to be going over, like I said, what is UGC marketing? Who is it for? Does it fit your company? A case study so you guys can see what this looks like in action. How exactly you can build a creator program from building, sourcing, training, and scaling it. Frequently asked questions, and then I'll open it up to the audience to ask questions as well. So yeah, what is UGC? Very different from influencer marketing. Typically, influencer marketing is what we used to see mostly on places like TikTok and Instagram, where you'd be paying an influencer who maybe has a large following for one or two posts, maybe something on their story, and this would be something really, really high budget. And that works great. It works great, especially when you are trying to, align with their community and kind of bank on that trust that they've already built with their community. But what we find is you're paying a really high ticket price for just a couple of posts, and you're really just hoping those things go viral and those things convert. With UGC, prices, it's a little bit cheaper, and you're pumping out hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of content per month. So you have a lot more shots on goal. When you do a UGC campaign, each creator is making a brand new account. This works primarily best on TikTok, where the algorithm is super, super specific, and they're posting 3 times a day, 5 times a week. So huge, huge volume of content going out that really allows you to iterate and make changes with every single piece of data going out there, so you can get closer to that viral moment that converts. This is great if you are building a new product and you want to understand what messaging resonates with my customers, with my potential users, or you want to test a new product and you're saying, okay, before I build this out, let me find some validation that this idea or this product or this new feature will actually work. We find that this organic style of marketing also tends to convert just at a higher rate, because it feels more organic. Instead of being served an ad, as a customer or as a consumer, I know when an influencer is clearly showing off, an app or a product, like, okay, they are paid to do this. But UGC marketing feels a lot more friendly. It almost feels like a friend is just giving you that recommendation. And that's why it tends to convert better. I'll go into the nitty gritty of, what can we do in the comment sections and what specific things can we do in our videos to really increase conversion. But this is kind of the overview of what UGC is. Across all of our campaigns at PlayKit, so over the past year, and working with over 50 plus different companies, I would say our average CPM sits around $3.80. So it's a pretty great number for this huge volume of videos going out. This is an example of just what this UGC style really looks like. This is for an example of one of our old clients, Q. This video brought in about 40 million views and alone brought in 300,000 downloads. This was a fun one. It actually crashed their servers, so we had to stop the campaign a little bit early just for the sake of the product. But a great example that these videos are super easy to produce. It was about a 7-second video, truly just a video of a girl's face and then showing how to use the product, and it just converts like crazy. So going to be going over, exactly how you can build out these programs and what this can look like for you. Before we get into it though, is UGC right for you? I will say UGC programs, not for everybody. They work mostly for consumer-facing products. If your target audience is Gen Z or they spend a lot of time on TikTok, UGC is great if you have an understanding of what messaging works and you really want to boost it with some more social proof in the comment sections. You can almost kind of start fake trends with these big UGC programs because you have 10, 20, 30 creators posting about it. Everybody sees that on their For You page and they're like, what is this app everybody's talking about? What is this new product everybody's talking about? I must need to check it out. This is really great if you have the infrastructure and the time and the bandwidth to test with a lot of creators, test with a lot of videos going out. If you are somebody who's currently strapped and want a quick fix, I would say try and find a partner who can help you with this because it does take a lot of work to manage creators, find them, work on iteration and everything like that. In terms of what products are best, I would say, again, consumer facing, but additionally, ones that feel really like utility based, really utility focused, things that are easy for people to understand in a 10, 20-second video. Things that need a big explainer to understand what the product is typically don't work as well for UGC. And the thinking behind that is you really only have a couple of seconds to get people's attention. We really try and make all of our videos around 8 to 10 seconds. So if you only have 8 to 10 seconds to tell people what a product is and why they should use it, the product needs to be simple enough for that time frame. And then on where to find a partner to manage that, I'm just seeing a question in the comments here. Shameless plug at PlayKit. That's kind of what we do at our agency. We run these UGC campaigns end to end, and I'll go over soon what kind of roles you can hire internally as well if you are trying to build out this program. Before I get into that though, a case study of, what this really looks like. This is a super fun case study for us. This is called Hunch. They're a dating app. They've been a longtime partner with us. And I wanted to show this one in particular because the videos themselves aren't what people typically talk about for, what goes viral and what converts in the Twitter spaces of it all, or, LinkedIn of how to go viral. Hunch is a really fun campaign because we really found that the comments converted a lot for this product. So we had girls authentically telling their stories of using dating apps, what went wrong, what went great. And we found that it just really opened up the conversation for lots of people to share similar stories or to share horror stories. And we had all of our creators respond to the comments with, this would never happen to you on Hunch, or you need to try Hunch. I met my boyfriend on here. It's a really fun way to build community around a product in a way that you just can't with influencer or paid ads. The video almost turns into an ecosystem that you can really cater to and really create an environment all focused around conversion if you play the comment section game right. And I'll get into this a little bit more later, but one big thing that we always tell our creators is make these comments feel just organic and as authentic as possible. If the videos and the comments feel like a friend just giving you a recommendation, people are much more likely to convert and stick around for a little bit longer. I'm also going to drop a link to our case study site in the comments here, just so you can kind of see what do our videos look like in general, and how do we, go about making content for different products. Feel free also at this time, if you'd like to drop what your product is, and I can let you know, hey, does that work well for UGC? I'll go through all of these at the end. But yeah, feel free to drop those in there, and I can let you guys know if that's a good product for UGC marketing. Cool. And then I'm going to get a little bit into structure. So great, these things work really well. They convert really well. How the heck do I actually do this? When you're starting off, it can be really, really scrappy. At the beginning of PlayKit, we literally had all of our creators in an iMessage group chat. I was on TikTok manually counting, okay, this creator posted 7 times today. How much do I pay them out? Really scrappy in the beginning. And now we've built out systems and technology and programs to help streamline the whole thing. So hopefully I can share with you guys some of my learning, so you can kind of skip to that later part and not be in the weeds a little bit or as much. But typically you need 3 main hires to build a creator program that scales: a strategist, a manager, and then all of your creators. What these different people are: the strategist, that is going to be your person you depend on the most. They are responsible for understanding what content is going to be performing the best for your product and converting the best as well. They're going to be instructing your creators on exactly what content to post. They're going to be analyzing all of the videos that are going live, and they will be really iterating on that content, looking at the comment sections, looking at the views to say, okay, does this resonate with viewers? Is this really a successful video? And they will help direct the creators going forward to continue to make sure that those content pieces are successful and have positive momentum. The manager, this is going to be another important hire. They're going to be the person that oversees hiring, onboarding, and just making sure that all of your creators are, posting the amount of times they should. Is anybody kind of performing low? Should they be swapped out? The strategist and the manager ideally would be the same person. If you're really lucky, you'll find somebody who is equally as good at understanding social media and understanding trends as they are managing creators. Sometimes those skill sets don't fall too much in the same person. But in the beginning, I would really recommend somebody on your internal team being your strategist. And then you can always hire out a manager, whether it's a VA or a college student that you kind of hire up, and then they can help with this management role. A lot of times a manager is somebody who could be, a creator that has shown themselves and improved themselves really well, and they can then kind of manage your other creators for you. But yeah, I'll go into a little bit of more, what you should look for when you're hiring this strategist and manager and creator position. But I think the biggest thing when you're starting is try and keep it as much in-house as possible, especially when it comes to the actual strategy of it all, because you understand your product the best. You're probably going to have the most bandwidth and care to actually go in and really make sure that the videos are actually performing well and that they are converting. Whereas, somebody hired just doesn't come with that same care. And then in terms of creators, their main focus should really just be to post. They're posting 3 times a day, 5 times a week. If you're lucky, you'll find creators who at the same time can kind of analyze and iterate on their performance as well. But for the most part, you're going to want to just be finding creators who they just show up, they post on TikTok, they get paid out, and that's their whole job. The strategist is really the one that's going to be telling them what to post, iterating on the content, and giving them those briefs. And then in terms of when you're actually hiring these people, what do you look for? So in terms of the manager, you're going to want somebody who is really proactive. This person should be okay with working late nights, maybe weekends sometimes. They need to be really okay with chaotic environments. They should be moving fast and managers first. This person, it's a lot to manage a ton of creators, especially when they're college age, especially when it's just a side hustle for them. Making sure that they are following up and posting when they should be, submitting their videos for review when they should be, posting the right things. It's a lot of work and it takes a lot of responsibility to actually oversee this. Our best hires have been creators that we've really seen promise in, and then we've hired up into our internal team. We've also found that finding people who have had prior management experiences is also a plus. Stay-at-home moms are another great group for this manager position. Strategists, their main job and their biggest value add that they will have to you will be somebody who is chronically online. If they love scrolling on TikTok, if they create content themselves, if they already have a following on a personal account and they just naturally know what does well online, this is going to be the best person that you can find. We actually just hired a new strategist internally at PlayKit. She's an influencer, so she understands very natively what does well on social media, and it's been an incredible hire for us. So I always recommend finding those people who already just know it natively and play around with it. When you're actually going through this hiring process, I would definitely make sure that you test them with a sample brief before hiring. So this can look like, hey, here's my product. Here's some videos we've tested, some videos we've tried. Can you write up a brief based off of your findings and your learnings from these videos for how we can go forward? And that's a really great way to understand, to look at, hey, can they analyze? Can they write hooks and prompts? And can they do it in a way that can be really clearly communicated to creators? And then in terms of creators, the biggest thing you should look for is hiring based off of past performance. Not only should they be actively posting on TikTok, maybe for themselves or with other brands, but have they gone viral multiple times? And when they do go viral, are they responding to the comments? How do they respond to the comments? What do their videos look like? Definitely check for quality and ensuring that, you have to make sure that these people have already gone viral in the past, because it's hard to train them and you'll end up wasting more time trying to train people than just hiring people who've already done it. How do you find these people? Strategists and managers, I think TikTok and LinkedIn are your best bets. When it comes to creators, there's a couple of different options. We have marketplaces, cold outreach, and founder-led TikTok videos. I'll be going over each of these right now. Marketplaces. SideShift is a great one. If you guys haven't heard of them already, we get a lot of our creators from here as well. They're a great UGC marketplace, majority college students. They are ready, they are primed, and they have been trained on how to do this UGC style of content. I have a code, PlayKit, 40% off if you guys want to use it for SideShift. But yeah, I would definitely make sure when you're doing this hiring process, ask them to do a test video. What we do in our application process is we give them a brief of what kind of content we want to make. Usually we have a fake product, or if you're hiring, you could do your own product even, and ask them to make a test video for how they would do it in this UGC style. Give them a couple of examples, but that's a great way to test, is this person actually a good fit for the company? Only move forward with people who are fast to respond. They show up to the interview on time. It seems like a no-brainer, but those things really do make a difference when you are then managing 10, 20 creators. You want to make sure you're only working with people who are super on it. Otherwise, you will just have a massive headache. Trust me, we have been there. Cold outreach. This one I would say is the most difficult, but sometimes is the highest paying off. Personally, I try and do 15 cold outreach messages a day. I think I posted about that on Twitter once, and people were like, that's nothing. But if you're doing these cold outreach messages correctly, then it should be very personalized. It should take you a long time. Each message should feel very, unique to that individual, because you should be dropping something about maybe it's their video that you saw. Not only should you be DMing them, but then also comment on a couple of their videos, so then they know you're a real person. I would recommend that if you are doing cold DMs, make sure that your account that you're doing this on has some videos of yourself. I can't tell you how many DMs I get from random accounts that are clearly spam. But if you have an account that has a couple of videos of yourself, and then maybe even has a couple of videos where you're explaining what the role is, you become a lot more credible and you'll get a lot more responses. How I find these people, a lot of times I'm just scrolling my For You page and I'm like, oh, this person looks like they'd be a great fit for UGC. Or I see another person doing the UGC gig. Another hack that I love is I look up on TikTok other videos where people are promoting side hustles or UGC gigs, or they are, asking about side hustles. And I'll go through the comment sections where people are like, oh, I want that job. I'll look at their profile. If they're a good fit, I'll DM them. It's a lot of in the boots, in the grass work here, but it can pay off really well when you send these personalized messages to people who may not have otherwise applied to your job. And if I really like the person, I'll often just fast track them through the application process and just hop on a call with them right away and see if they're a good fit. And this is my favorite one. I think this is the easiest one and the most powerful one is founder-led TikTok videos. So a lot of times I would say I do this like once or twice a week, honestly. I post on TikTok natively founder-led content that's saying I'm hiring. You'll get a ton of inbound. For example, this video only got 16K views, but almost 500 comments, all filled with people who were interested in working with us. It's a great way to, bring people to you and then easily sort through and vet. If they are commenting on a TikTok account, then you can just easily look at their TikTok account, use it as their resume. And it's a great way to say, okay, let me DM this person, this person, this person. It's like a constant stream of inbound. And you'll really see who stands out by who goes the extra mile. If they follow you, if they DM you, maybe they're commenting on other posts. You'll really want to prioritize those people because it shows they want the job, they want to work with you, and they are a go-getter. And as much as you can prioritize hiring those people, the more luck you will have. Again, managing creators can be a mess. So the more people you can find that can manage themselves, the more success that you'll have. Great. Now I'm going to get a little bit into the training of, how do you train these creators once you have them all? Say you've found your hires, you've gotten all of your creators set up. Maybe you are acting as a strategist or you are acting as the manager. What do I do with all these creators? You are going to want to be as prescriptive as possible. In the beginning, I used to give our creators a lot of just freedom, honestly, to kind of post whatever they want. But now we've figured out that we need really, really specific briefs to make sure that they are posting the right things. So what we do every single week, our creators get a big Notion doc that is filled with, here are 4 different formats that you're going to do this week. Here's a second-by-second breakdown for each video you're going to post. This is exactly how you're going to do it. This is what screen in the app you're going to show. Make it as simple as possible for these people. I have a handbook actually that shows exactly how you can create this. I'll drop it in the comments here. I also don't know if my comments are working, so I'll also let Nick, my wonderful co-founder, maybe drop a comment in the LinkedIn if he can, or Twitter. But it's called growthkit.xyz on the bottom right here. But yeah, so you're really going to want to be as prescriptive as possible. Here's an example of what that looks like. It's literally so descriptive. It's gotten more and more as we have gone on because we found that the more that you want your creators to succeed, the more you need to script it for them. Every once in a while, you'll find a creator who can really do their own thing, and you should hire those people to be strategists and to manage your other creators and tell them exactly what they need to be doing. But for the most part, when you're just working with the average college-age student, you're going to want to script out for them exactly what you need to do. How to actually find these hooks and to find what is the best content that is performing. There's a couple things you can do. Again, I go through this way in more depth in my growth kit, which is, I'll give a discount code at the end of this, but a couple of different things you're going to want to do is 1, go on TikTok, go and search up things in your niche to understand how are people talking about this niche and products similar to mine already. Don't only look at the videos, but make sure you're also paying attention to the comment sections. This is really important because, yes, people can make content about whatever, but you're really going to want to be making sure that you are appeasing to so many people that are viewing the content. So you're going to want to make sure that you're appeasing to the actual consumers, the actual viewers. And if you can get an understanding of the sentiment around how people are reacting to their content and their messaging points, you can be a lot more proactive in creating your own. We do this not only when we're starting our handbooks and we're starting our strategy initiatives, but also throughout the campaign. We're always analyzing our comment sections to understand how our viewers and how is the everyday consumer really reacting to this and how can we be on top of that. So when not only are you looking at, what's already going viral online, how are people responding to it? There's like a couple of other tricky things you can do. There's, I would say, a group of maybe like 10 or 20 just tried and true formats and hooks that you can do, POV, blah, 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 hook demo, problem solution oriented kind of messaging. What that looks like is you really want to make sure that you are stopping your viewers in their tracks. So people are, when they're on TikTok, they're scrolling maybe in their bed, in a dark room. They're not super happy. They're in their death scroll. How can you make sure that your content pieces reach out to them and pull them out of that scroll enough so they'll stop watch your whole video, maybe leave the app, and then they'll come back? So what this looks like, you want to make it feel super personal. This is why I often talk about like the problem and solution and target audience kind of setup. So when you're designing a hook or when you're designing messaging or a content piece, one, you're going to want to reach out to the target demo. So think a little bit about who your target demo is. I'll use the example of an AI note taker for students. So maybe this is a person who is, maybe you're trying to reach college students. It's midterm season. Great. That's our target audience. Somebody who has a midterm coming up. In your hook, you need to say, oh my gosh, I have midterms coming up. That's like one segment of your hook that you need to hold on to. That's the target audience. Then the problem is, okay, I have midterms coming up. I have gone to all these classes. I can't organize my thoughts. I can't organize my notes. Here's a solution. My AI note taker organizes it for me and it creates a study guide. So your hook should have all of those things together. What this could look like is, I can't believe I'm just finding this after I took my midterms. Like, that's a great hook because one, it makes them want to stay along for longer, tells you it's about midterms, tells you that it's a problem about the midterms. And then in that second part of the video, you're going to be showing the product and you're going to go through the value props of it. Like, okay, it organizes all my notes. It creates a study guide for me. It blah, 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 blah. And that really helps drive conversion because it shows people their problem and it shows them how to solve the problem. And then they're golden. Again, I go through this in way more detail on my growth kit books if you want, actual step-by-steps on how to build these programs. How to leverage this training program and to leverage your strategist when you're doing this kind of creator instruction. Beyond just building the initial brief, you're going to want to make sure that you are iterating on the content pieces. So the great thing about UGC is that, different from influencer, like I mentioned in the beginning, you have a ton of data points going out. You're really going to want to make sure that you're leveraging every single one of those every single day. So what we do, we often look at our top maybe 5 to 10 posts every day and our bottom 5 to 10 posts every day. We're looking at the comment section. We're seeing, what do people enjoy about this? What are people saying about it? Are people sending this to their friends? Who do they want to recommend this to? And really get analytical with how people are responding to the content, and that helps us drive it forward. We'll say if, some content is getting more views, we'll say, okay, great, let's double down on this messaging. When content is not getting much views, we'll move on and we'll really continue to only iterate on what is performing well. You should refresh these big briefs like those screenshots I showed every single week. The algorithm is always changing. How people respond to things is always changing. So be really proactive in how you are instructing your creators so you can always stay ahead of the algorithm and you could stay ahead of consumer sentiment. A couple other tips. I would really recommend your strategist reviews all the videos before they go live. Have them give actionable feedback. It's easy. There's a couple different ways you could put this together. I think the easiest way is just by having them upload to Google Drive. What we do is we have a Google Drive, we have a folder for each creator, and then we label individual folders by the date so creators know when to upload those videos. The strategist goes in there, leaves comments. There's definitely like tech and software that you could use for this, but Google Drive is free. That's what we use. It's really easy. And have them give comments like, okay, this video should be only 8 seconds long, or you need to move the text down, or try different audio. And this really just makes sure that all of the content that you're paying for is actually really high quality. I think a lot of people skip this step, but yeah, making sure that you're reviewing all the content. And that's why it's helpful to have a strategist too, because it's a lot of content to go through if you have a whole other job to do at your startup or at your company. And then additionally, I think a lot of people waste a lot of time trying to train up creators who are underperforming. I would say give it 2-ish weeks, maybe 10 days for a creator before you know whether or not to swap them out. If you see low performers who just aren't really getting it like other people are, then swap them out as fast as you can. This is why that manager hire is really key to have, because they can constantly just swap out and bring in new people. You don't want to waste any time with people who just aren't going to come up to your standards and come to the standards that they need to be. So hire and fire fast, as you should with all things, but regularly rotate out the low performers and constantly be looking for higher performers. And make sure when you do get those high performers, you're really rewarding them and you are making sure that they want to stay there. Maybe that's with merch. Maybe that's with a individual resume workshop or a weekly call with a strategist, or they get to chat with the founder. You're showing them what these download charts look like. You're showing them how their videos are actually converting. All of these community-based things are really, really powerful, not only to get your team to actually want to stick around and build and work with you, but then also just to make sure that they feel motivated too to get the end result of bringing you more users. I find that that's like honestly one of the most powerful things. Yes, obviously pay these people well, and I'll go into what that pay structure can look like in a bit. But most importantly, just make them feel like they're part of the team, because at the end of the day, you're going to really want these people to be a part of your team, and they're really important for the growth of your product if you go forward with this. How do you know if it's working? So great, you have creators posting, you have some downloads coming in. The hard thing about organic is it's really, really difficult to track attribution. There's just no really specific way. The best thing to do is look at the comment section. I talked about the comment section a lot. It remains really, really important for all things, whether it's iterations, but then also understanding, is this even working for me? A couple key things you want to look out for. When people are commenting in your comment section for your videos, are they commenting about the app? Are they saying they want to download the app? Are they saying they want to send this to their friend? Are they saying they've seen this before? Then that's a really good sign that you found content that is high converting. And I would double down on that. If you see videos like that are high converting, I'd even sometimes boost it with Spark ads or with paid ads, because okay, this piece of creative works and it converts. I can boost it a little bit more. Only boost videos if you know they're going to convert. Cannot say that enough. We do a lot of fun things at PlayKit, like comment seeding. This is an example of that, actually, where we have all of our creators, whenever a video goes viral, it's over 50K views, flood the comment sections with things like, oh my gosh, I need to send this to my friend, or I need to download this app, or I can't believe this. Where has this been all my life? What you should really pay attention to is the likes on the comments here. So yeah, say a video gets, 1 million views or 10K views, whatever it is. That's great. But if you can really direct people to the comment section and control the environment of the comment section, you'll get 3,000 people, 3,500 people asking what app this is. And that's a way higher signal of people who actually want to download the product or use the product than just simply viewing the video. So yeah, definitely play around and leverage the comment section. We do fun things where we have our creators drop in photos. You can do that now on TikTok. Drop in photos of the app themselves and say how they love it, or memes. Our creators are so great. And sometimes we'll make memes in the comment sections and really, really help boost engagement and, again, create this community all focused around conversion. Great. So we have creators, we have a strategist, we have a manager. We're getting some of those great comments. How do we scale, and when do I know it's time to scale? You know it's time to scale when you have a couple of different viral hooks or formats that have each hit virality a couple of times. So you haven't had maybe just 1 or 2 blowout videos. You're getting that consistent, repeatable hook, that continues to go viral time and time again. That's when you know you're ready to scale, because you've done the testing, you know it works, and now all you need to do is execute and blow it up a little bit more. I always, always, always recommend making sure you have some of these formats and some of these videos that work before you put any more money behind it, because you'd rather spend more time testing and learning what works versus blowing up on scaling before you're ready. You're going to want to have at least one creator posting 15 times a week. Scaling typically looks like more than 5, more than 10 creators posting. You consistently have these comments of saying, what app is that? How do I do this? You know for certain that these videos are bringing in conversion. How do you scale? A scaled UGC program is 10 plus creators posting 3 times a day, 5 times a week, all on new accounts. Like I mentioned in the beginning, if you successfully want to scale, you're going to have that manager and strategist in place. In the beginning, I think a lot of this could be the internal team, but as you scale and as you want this flywheel to kind of kick off just for yourself and run on its own, you're really going to want to make sure you have these people in place to manage creators and manage swaps, and everything like that to make sure that you are set up for success. Also, you can use a lot of tech to help you manage creators and track engagement. We actually built an internal tool for this called ugctracker.com. Nick, if you're around still, if you could send the link. I don't know why mine's not working. Then that's a really good platform because, again, when we started, I was literally knee deep in Google Sheets and Google Drive, and we had a virtual assistant tracking engagement and figuring all these different things out. But now there's a lot of great software out there that you can track engagement, and you could track when your creators posted and who you need to reach out to and all these different things. This is what ours looks like. Just a quick sneak peek of how we manage creators. We use this and it's great. You could use code growth for 15% off for 3 months. This helps us, manage creators. You get to pull in all of their accounts. It automatically uploads to say, okay, what were our views? All those engagement analytic metrics. And then also, is anybody behind on posting? We're always building this out, and this is a really powerful tool and has allowed us to scale to 200 creators and 50 plus campaigns. Couple of FAQs before I dive into audience questions. Biggest one is, tools you can use to help you scale. Would recommend doing this once you actually have multiple creators, because again, you're just going to be able to see so much clearer what content is performing better. You can compare it over dates, and understand, okay, are things actually driving downloads? I get a lot of questions on pay. How much should I pay creators? I'll say creators typically earn between $125 to $175 a week before bonuses. And I definitely would recommend inputting a bonus structure as well. Typically, this is what we do: $500 for 100K views, $1,000 for 1 million plus views. This really incentivizes our creators to go out there and not only produce content, but produce content that goes viral. With this, I also definitely recommend pulling your creators in and showing them, okay, what do download charts look like? Did this video actually bring in any conversion? And kind of coach them on, okay, did this video bring in conversion? How can we change it? If not, maybe it's responding to the comments. Maybe it's showing the product more, everything like that. I recommend weekly pay, especially if you're working with college students. People get sick, they have midterms, things happen. If you can keep them on a weekly contract, it's also better for you if, you're learning, okay, this person just is not performing well and I need them to drop off or I need to swap them out, then you have that flexibility. And once you start to find your really star players, you can switch them over to a month-long, 3-month, or 6-month contract. But especially in the beginning, start weekly. It's a little bit more manual work to pay them out weekly, but it really makes a difference when you're trying to iterate and make changes fast. And then secondly, I get a ton of questions about how to structure contracts. Obviously, we have like 200 creators, so we do this quite a bit. But yeah, the biggest things here, again, feel free to take a screenshot, is making sure that the scope of work is really, really clearly defined. So not only are you explaining that or stating that, yes, this is your 15 videos per week, but make sure that they know replying to all the comments, or at least like 70% of the comments, is part of the deliverable at well, and they won't be paid, or they won't be paid in full if that is not happening. Again, keep it week to week. That's just what I found works best for flexibility. Make sure you own all the content in the UGC, so then you can then repurpose that on a brand Instagram account for ads, whatever you want to do. Definitely make sure they're not working with competitors. You don't want that like cross-pollination of knowledge. And then I also recommend making sure their accounts stay live for 30 or even 90 days after they finish with you. Sometimes you see videos randomly go viral afterwards, and you really want to continue to leverage that ability for that to happen. If they shut the account off right away, then you won't have that. Okay, I breezed through that. Now, any questions from the audience? I'll go through and I'll look through these right now, but feel free to drop questions in the comment section and I'll go through things. Oliver, okay, I'm seeing your question. What should you do when things go bad? No videos going viral, for weeks on end. The hooks aren't the issue because they're validated. When should you make it an account? What other experiments should you run to get virality up again? Okay, this definitely happens where you're like, okay, I know what works. I've done this before. Why isn't this working anymore? What can I do to improve? Oh, look, I could show it. Fancy. This is my first webinar, so learning how to use the tech. But the biggest thing I would do, I think, one, test the hook with different creators if you can. Sometimes it's like creator fatigue or like face fatigue, for lack of better words. Definitely it happens where hooks also just get fatigued. So maybe you've tested something for a long time and it's just not working anymore, and you have to just continue to do kind of a whole restructure of your strategy handbooks that you give your creators or your briefs. Again, the growthkit.xyz is a great place to learn how to do that and how to iterate. But what I would do is I would get super analytical on the videos that have gone well in the past. So take those top 5-10 videos, look at every single aspect. Is the creator outside? What color clothes are the creator wearing? What is the audio? What was the main messaging point? What part of the product did they show? Start to analyze all of those different parts and then see what the commonalities of those are and start to put those together as you test new things. Sometimes what we'll do, Nick, my co-founder, is actually great at this. We'll use Google Vision to analyze a ton of videos at once, and it pulls a big, I don't know, like CSV. This is out of my realm, but it pulls a big sheet for us to use that has all these different variables. We plug that into something like ChatGPT, and then it'll say, okay, here were the top most common variables. This is what you should use in your next videos going out. This is a really powerful thing you can do because it tells you exactly with data what's working, and then you could do it again. In terms of when you should make a new account, I think like this works every once in a while. I don't know. I'm kind of anti like make a new account. I don't ever really think you truly need to do that. But it's never going to hurt. It just might not help. I also would make sure you're spending a lot of time on the For You page. So make sure you're engaging before and after you post. If you have to rewarm up your account by looking up things on the For You page with similar like things in your niche or similar pain points, then go ahead and do that as well. Okay, next question. Okay, how do you go about turning viral content that's low converting into high converting content? Great question. Yeah, I feel like I see a lot on places like Twitter, like, okay, I have a slideshow that is super, super viral, which is great. And it's a lot of times it's like somebody showing 10 different products, or one of those stories that's like, oh, I met my twin at Coachella and she looked 5 years younger than me because of the serum she used. And it's like, nobody's going to convert from that. I think turning viral content into high converting content, if you want to continue to do the same content, make sure that every single comment you're replying to, you plug the product in an organic way. That's the easiest thing you can do. Second, I would just experiment with like higher converting forms. So maybe that's hook and demo, where you're showing the product in the video itself. Or you are playing around with talking videos where somebody's explaining to you, what the problem is and the solution they found. Or you're doing more of this organic, like Snapchat story style content where maybe somebody's sitting in the front seat of their car on the app and someone's looking over their shoulder and taking a video. That content performs really well because it continues to feel organic. So it still goes really viral, but it's all centered around the product. I hope that's helpful. Can we get the slides? Yes, I will post a recording if I can figure out how to do that somewhere, but I will also post the slides on my LinkedIn, Twitter, things like that. Do you think TikTok changes will affect UGC on the platform? I know there's been a lot of changes in the GMV Max era and shop creators. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think we definitely saw when TikTok was having big news about the acquisition, a change in just how our accounts and our videos were performing. It's hard to say, and I wish I worked at TikTok and I knew all the answers, but unfortunately I don't. I think it definitely might change it a little bit. I think also as like AI and Sora come out and people are using AI UGC creators, there's going to be this constant kind of need for authenticity and realness still. So I still think there's like a very big place for that. Yes. FTC regulations. This is a big one, something we talk about internally a lot. Um, we've seen it hasn't had any impact on performance when we do things like, hashtag, brand name partner, which is great. We follow FTC guidelines for all our campaigns, just, to be legally compromised or legal. And we find it really doesn't have an impact, which is great. But yeah, make sure that in your comments or in your bios or captions is the right word for that. You are saying hashtag brand name partner. Make sure your creators in their bios will say brand name partner, things like that. Use the right sounds. We do that and don't do that. I think the FTC guidelines, they're really just suggestions and guidelines. There's no strict rule, so you can kind of push and pull with that as you will. Okay, I'm looking towards. Okay, this person is talking about how their UGC is for specific areas or their go-to-market, their target audience is in specific areas. Yeah, I would recommend trying to find creators who are in that area. Also, I'm in San Diego, so hi. But I'm in Encinitas. But you can also play around with geo-targeting to say, okay, if you could do fun things like one, when your creator posts a video, they could tag the location as San Diego, for example, or they could do other things like making sure they're dropping popular bars or restaurants or beaches or whatever it is in those areas, and that will help put the video in that place. And it's the same thing for New York or wherever you want to go. I think it always works best when those people are actually there, but you can definitely trick the algorithm, and we do this too with a little bit of geo-targeting. Okay. I'm looking at more. Okay, anything come to mind when it comes to apps with swiping UI, finding balance between novelty of swiping and other features? Yeah, for your UGC videos, I would always recommend just showing the most viral feature of the product. I think that's really the best thing you can do, especially if you're finding it work time and time again online and on socials. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Continue to just use that. I often talk to people who try and engineer different features in their app specifically for virality. So the swiping feature is great. The scanning feature is great. Voice notes is interesting. That's hard, or voice AI is interesting, but it's difficult to showcase that, on TikTok. I think I forget what that little app was called. That little monster guy, whatever. Sometimes the voice AI looks really good if you also have a nice user interface that goes along with it. But would definitely try and recommend you keep using the most viral features when you're showcasing it. Typical warm-up process. I would definitely recommend creators only have one account. Make sure they're just really investing in that one account. And then they should be posting 3 times a day on TikTok. You can have them repost on Instagram. We're experimenting with this right now, and we see some success. I definitely think TikTok is the most successful platform because it definitely caters the best to finding the right people, and also that just rapid posting and that rapid testing. But yeah, in terms of warm-up process, so creators spend about 5 to 7 days before videos go live just using TikTok as they would a normal person. I often tell our creators, okay, pretend like you are the target audience here and use it as that target audience would. So that means that they are going to their For You page and they're searching up pain points that their target audience might have. They're searching up problems, they're searching up things in the niche, and they're interacting with those videos. They're liking, commenting, saving, sharing, reposting, all those different things, just to trick the algorithm that when they do post, then those videos that they post go directly to that target audience. Is it too late to run Spark ads on slideshows that went viral a month ago? I haven't totally tested this. I don't think so. I'd start small and see that. But yeah, I think you can often run ads on things that went viral a month ago, not too long ago. Sometimes we see videos organically go viral after it's been months. So definitely there's some validation there. How do you manage a scaled up program? As I'm managing where to message them all, track payments, hand over hooks, definitely can get overwhelming. Yeah, so this is what we do at PlayKit. Again, shameless plug, but we have to build out a lot of tech and a lot of different operations to deal with this, because definitely a big overhaul sometimes. All of our creators are in Slack. That's worked best for us. Having different channels where creators can be managed. We're actually continuing to build out UGC Tracker internally right now, where things can automatically be sent to them, whether it's the new brief or a reminder that they're getting paid or a reminder that they didn't post. All those things are starting to become a little bit more automated. So definitely check out UGC Tracker as we continue to build that and offer it externally. We use Gusto for our payout platform, but I also know places like SideShift and Growy offer both tracking and payout in the same place. And then I would try and make sure that you just have a very, very great kind of like weekly system. So creators can expect a new brief on every Thursday, making sure that the systems are in place for them to know when things are coming. If that makes sense. Okay. I'm looking more at this. I'm curious how startup uses UGC to validate, quickly experiment product features before building them, and what are guardrails for preventing copycats if video engagement blows up? Okay, yeah, so we've actually done this a lot before, where we will try to, or we not try to, where we use TikTok or we use UGC to validate a product before we actually build it or validate a feature. This is really powerful. I'd recommend this. We often would do like Figma screenshots or Figma mockups and put a couple of UGC dollars behind it, figure out if people like it, sometimes drive them to a wait list before we even build the product. So then if we do build it, we have all these people who are really excited to use it. It's really the same way that you would use UGC regularly. It's just you don't actually have a product. Definitely would recommend having some sort of wait list. So then people are actually driven to something. And then you have all these people there. But yeah, it's super easy. Preventing copycats. Yeah, I think that's one of those things. It's like, if you want to blow up and if you want to succeed and if you want to go viral, people are going to see your product. Maybe don't talk about it on Twitter or LinkedIn, but the TikTok viewers of the world likely won't copycat your product. And it's one of those things you kind of just have to stay ahead of the game, continue to experiment, continue to market, continue to be the best one out there, and you'll stay ahead. But yeah, you can't prevent copycats forever, unfortunately. How many creators do you recommend to start with as a brand? How many views do you consider a success in the first couple of weeks? Great question. I love this question. How many creators do you recommend to start with? I definitely recommend probably like 2 to 3, maybe 5 creators to start with in the beginning. Depends how much bandwidth you have, really. If you have smaller bandwidth, start small. Don't go too crazy in the beginning, because you're going to want to make sure you're spending a lot of time looking at all the videos and analyzing everything and giving every creator the proper feedback that they need. So start smaller is better, and really make sure you find those consistent viral formats time and time again. What kind of success looks like week over week and month over month? The first month, you're going to do a ton of testing. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to test with this target audience. I'm going to test these 3 different messaging points. And in the first couple of weeks, you're going to just throw a lot at the wall and see what sticks. Those first couple of weeks, you're probably going to get a couple 10K plus view videos here and there, but it's not going to be until your second and third month where you're really going to start to see things go viral. You're going to start to get your million view videos after you've found those smaller viral hits. And maybe once you get those viral hits, all you need to do is tweak the hook or tweak the messaging point a little bit here and there. And that's how you're really going to, blow up and get that viral moment time and time again. Okay, have you ever done pure CPM campaigns? How do you manage so many creators in that case? Truthfully, I've experimented with both. I would recommend not doing CPM campaigns. I think in the spirit of building community and growing a team, showing your creators that you want to invest in them as much as they want to invest in you goes a long, long way. So you're going to want to pay a flat rate and do bonuses. I think that's the best way to do it. That's why also swapping off people who aren't performing well for you as quick as possible is the best way. But to give people a flat rate shows like, hey, I'm excited for you to be here. I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to teach you how to do this. And I need you to do the same for me. If you don't meet performance expectations, you're going to get cut. But let's try and do this together. CPM can just feel difficult sometimes. you can't have a viral week every single week. And sometimes creators are paid like 30, 40, $50 a week. And that just feels really discouraging. When you're trying to build community and you're trying to build a strong team, you're going to want to make sure you're supporting people in every way you can. And sometimes it can be more expensive, but the payout ends up being a lot higher. Okay, cool. I'm seeing a couple more on LinkedIn. Do you use the creator content that went viral in ads on Meta? I've had really good experiences with this. Yes, I think it depends what the content is. I haven't played with Meta ads personally, but people do, and I think you can. My thought process is that if you have a piece of content go viral organically, I'd rather spend the money and spend the time to double down on that organic piece of media more so than boost it with Meta, because it's a little bit harder to control, and conversion rate's not always as great. Just organic tends to convert better. So I'd always recommend putting more spend or putting more time and energy into building out that organic program. Okay, I've definitely gone over time, but I hope this was helpful. I will be posting this online. Oh, in my growth kit code. I forgot to give it to you guys. But yeah, use code PlayKit222. Again, not really sure why my comments aren't working, but PlayKit222 for growth kit. And that will give you a discount code for the handbooks that I have on exactly how to build out strategy briefs for your creators, how to find creators, and all those great things. I'll somehow post these slides or this deck live or my live stream, whatever, somewhere. Check my LinkedIn and check my Twitter. I'll figure out how to do that. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. I hope that this was helpful. And if there's any other questions that come up, feel free to shoot me a DM. I try and respond to everybody. But yeah, thanks guys. This was fun.